All right, I
Well,
think we should be coming on now. We should be coming on. We should be coming on. You see anything? Oh, I think we're there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please, first of all, let me know in the chat right away if my audio sounds off or if we are lagging. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a grace period to do that before we get into the news or anything like that. Ryan, how's your day been?
my day has been all right. It is a nice Halloween weekend.
That's correct. That is
Happy
true.
Halloween to everyone.
God bless. Oh shoot, Ryan, keep talking.
Hello there.
Okay, that'll do.
Hello there.
That'll do. Guys, if you're coming in the chat, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. No, not EDPC Productions. No. Alright guys, if you're in the chat, please let me know if the audio is working or if we're lagging, if I sound robotic, or if we are good to go. Please, quickly, if you wouldn't mind. Ryan, you watch any football games today?
No.
You would be pleased to know, or perhaps not, that the Falcons won in quite the game. Quite the game.
Against?
Alright, we don't have to talk about that part, but
Who did they play?
they played the Carolina Panthers,
Mm,
who are,
trash.
I wouldn't say that, and we almost lost, but
Oh.
people in the chat, perhaps you didn't hear me, but I'm going to ask again, preferably, because I would like to know if my audio sounds fine and if we are lagging or not before I know if we can continue the show. Where do you get that? Is that like just a thing that you... Is
It's
that
a
an
little.
emoji?
Yeah, it's one of the little emojis.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe some people will think it's a message loading.
Alright. Will you
And I
type
can
in the
get
chat
them.
actually, just say, let us know if we're robotic or lagging or something like that, and then we'll continue the show. Because it's already been 2 minutes and nobody's responded. Even though we had 6 viewers the first time we did this. So that's great.
Our screens aren't lagging.
Right, but
that I know of.
well, it wasn't lagging for me last time. Anyway, folks, I'm EDPC Reviews. Much better now. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you for finally responding. I am Ethan, as always. This guy is...
Ryan?
And we are about to bring you the 4th ever cinema conversation. Let's do it. Alright, we're back, folks. Ryan, shall we begin and discuss one of the films of the year? Certainly one of the films of the year. The Good Nurse. The Good Nurse. What do you know about this film? Walk the audience through it.
It's a Netflix film. It's based off a true story, very chilling true story of basically someone who works in a hospital, and he goes hospital to hospital killing patients, and it is over like a span of 16 years, and none of the hospitals did anything to stop it. They just let him go. They just fired him and let him go because they didn't want repercussions with police and whatnot. And then eventually a nurse, the good nurse in the film, who's played by Jessica Chastain, gets him arrested.
That's right. So it is based on a true story. And Ryan, what were your thoughts about the film?
Should I just go full in detail on my...
Yeah, I guess, unless you want to take it point by point or something like that.
It was good at a lot of things. The acting was very good. Jessica Chastain and Eddie,
Yeah,
Redmayne, yeah. They were both very good actors. And so that part is good. There are emotional moments because of that, where like yelling and whatnot because of the nature of the film.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be good in that, especially being based off a true story. You really feel the emotion in that. But one big issue is pacing. It's very slow, and I think it's way too long of a film for what it is. I think they could have made it much shorter and better.
Huh. I am going
That.
to comment off two things you said. One, the pacing was not my main complaint with the film. I didn't find, maybe this is just me, but I found it to be rather straightforward, and the pacing was just fine. You know, it definitely dragged at some points. I wouldn't say it was too long necessarily. What I would prefer to comment on that you mentioned was the acting. And of course, you have Jessica Chastain, who is coming off an Oscar for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Brilliant performance in a brilliant film, in my opinion. And then Eddie Redmayne, who was also an Oscar winner for The Theory of Everything. So these guys are brilliant actors. I mean, truly the best, some of the best working today. And Eddie Redmayne specifically is like, this is the kind of role that I think he works very well in. He's a bit of a creepy, and you know his face, no offense to the guy. He's a great actor, but he's a bit offsetting. He's like a Bill Skarsgård kind of creature, the guy who plays in It or Barbarian. Like, he knows what he's doing. He plays this character for a reason, and he's very good at it. And then Jessica Chastain, obviously, is phenomenal. But I will say, you mentioned emotional beats. And one of the things that really bugged me was there's a lot of overacting in this film. I really feel like a lot of the scenes don't call for as much as the actors bring to it. There's this one scene I'm thinking of specifically, which you will probably know if you've seen the film, with Eddie Redmayne, where he is just so over the top absurd that it took me out of the film. And so there's definitely moments like that where it just feels like they're really trying too hard. They're trying too hard to grip you with their performances. And then if I had a complaint, Ryan, that you can respond to when I finish. My main complaint is that the film was just a little too standard. Very average. The story is obviously, you know, interesting, and especially because it's true, it is made more interesting. But that doesn't change the fact that this is still a very standard way of telling the story. I mean, there's like two cops are in the story as well, with their whole little investigation thing. And it just feels so routine. It's like, why are we doing this? I've seen a film like this before. I get that it's a true story. I appreciate that factor. But I could have looked this up on Wikipedia and been just as invested. I have to be honest. I don't think the film added any investment into this story. So very average. I thought it was fine. I did overall probably enjoy it somewhat, but very, you know, average film. Thoughts on that? I'm just trying to adjust this if I can.
I think I know exactly this. I think I know exactly the scene you're talking about with the overacting Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. It was like, and I just thought like they're trying too hard. They're just trying to win like a, I don't know, Oscar for The Good Nurse, a Netflix film. And the scene, like, it wasn't based off a true story though, so I like kind of let it slide. You know, maybe they have a account of him, the person doing this, but I don't know. It seemed over the top.
Yeah.
And I agree, Eddie Redmayne fits the character perfect. I hope he doesn't get like typecast as like a crazy psycho person, but like he did it really well.
Agreed, I'm with you there.
And what was that last part you were saying?
Just an average.
You were
basic.
talking about. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree there. It was very similar to a lot of different films, not too different, not standout-ish, and that kind of brings it down.
Yeah. Elon in the chat says average doesn't mean bad, and I would 100% agree, but it does certainly diminish the quality of a film, in my opinion. Nobody has an average film as their favorite film, because being average obviously means it doesn't stand out. It's very middle of the road. And so I think that in and of itself is a complaint. Nobody wants to be average. Does anybody want to just be average, or they want their film to be average? I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't know what Elon's trying to say here, but like, I don't think any. I agree, and I can't think of any one of my favorite films. I wouldn't call any of them average.
Right.
They're just, you know.
No, why would you? Nobody has an average film as their favorite. It has to stand out in some regard. And so The Good Nurse
Yeah.
is not going to be winning any Oscars, though I think both Jessica Chastain and Eddie Redmayne would prefer that. It's probably not even going to be nominated for any Oscars. And it will go down as a film that is forgotten, unfortunately. I don't think anybody's going to remember... Oh, Ryan, you're gone. You back? I think your Wi-Fi's dipping out. The Good Nurse will be forgotten. It won't be remembered. And, you know, that's okay. The story certainly will be. It's an interesting story. But it will go... It's just another Netflix basic original thing. Like the flavor of the month kind of thing. Like the Dahmer show. Is that going to be remembered either? Again, I haven't seen it. But it's just this kind of stuff that's very average content that's getting pumped out about true stories. That is watched by a ton of people. Everybody's talking about how good it is. And then, you know, at the end of it, who remembers the film? No, nobody's going to say this is Jessica Chastain's best performance. Nobody's going to say this is Eddie Redmayne's best performance. I don't know the director, but nobody's going to say this is his best film, hopefully. This is certainly not Netflix's best film. This may be the best film about the situation that it's covering, because it's the only film, to my knowledge, about the situation that it's covering. But at the end of the day, it's rather average. I don't mean to sound so harsh on the film, because I did actually enjoy it. I would give it a positive rating, but it would be slightly positive. So, because it was very basic. That is my complaint of the film. And I don't really have much more to say. It's, you know, not a ton to talk about here. What about you? Anything to add?
Yeah, I agree. You were talking about... I forgot now.
Okay.
My bad.
All right, all good. Well, then we are going... anybody in the chat, remember you are always free to ask any questions about anything, especially the film we're talking about. If you have questions, if you have your own thoughts, please share them. I guess this is a good time to announce, and I'll probably announce this at the end, that we've discussed call-ins for a few weeks now. And it has been very difficult to implement, I have to tell you. And personally, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to implement. And also, these shows run very long as it is. We have about an hour to each show without call-ins. So here's the deal I'm going to make with you guys. We can shake on it. I'm going to give you subscriber, what do you call them? Bonuses, incentives. Because that way, it shows me that you care about the channel, about the content that I put out, that Ryan and I put out, that we come here each week to do. And also, you know, you get something in return. So here's what I'm going to do. At 125 subscribers, Ryan and I are going to host a Cinema Conversations, either its own or a part of one, in which we discuss, properly rated, underrated, overrated. The chat can feel free to give us a list of prompts. We're going to have some of our own in which we discuss things that are properly, properly, under and overrated, for everything from film characters to films themselves, to directors, to actors, to everything. Okay, so at 125 subscribers, you can count on that. I'm excited for that one. I really want to do that. I don't know about you, Ryan. And then at 150 subscribers, the big 150, which is a long way out, admittedly, but you guys can do it. I believe in you. We are going to introduce call-ins. That will be the time when we introduce call-ins, and then you lovely people can give your thoughts on the show. Ryan, do you think they'll get to it anytime soon?
I'm not sure how many subscribers do you have right now. 99?
99 is correct. Somebody needs to be that 100th. Somebody needs to be that 100th. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so that's your guys' goal. That's your guys' goal. So, God bless. Elon in the chat says, what do you think about Wendell Wild? And Ryan says, we will get to that, because we will. We will indeed get to that. Daniel is telling me 100 subs. I don't know if that is true. It is true. Wow. Congratulations to the channel, to the viewers. God bless. I don't know who hit that 100. I think Elk might be pulling some funny business himself, but you know what? I appreciate it. 100. That's a big milestone, folks. I really am grateful. Glad to have hit it with all of you here. Thank you. My support is everlasting, and I appreciate all of you forever and ever. You guys are the greatest. So we hit 100. God bless. Ryan, shall we continue? Unless you remembered what you had to say about the Good Nurse. No?
No, it was just a comment about how you said no one's going to remember it, and I agreed.
Yeah, okay. He subbed on his school account, Elon says. Well, you know what? Then I appreciate the school version of you who enjoys my content enough to subscribe. Let us talk All you have to do is make 50 more school accounts, and then that's a joke, by the way. Please don't do that. I would prefer actual subscribers. Let's talk about All Quiet on the Western Front, which was another Netflix film. Actually, all three of the films we're talking about this week are Netflix films. Ryan, have you seen All Quiet on the Western Front?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
Well, you should probably watch it because it's one of the most well-reviewed films of the year, and I will be making a review on it. But since you haven't seen it, I will talk about it briefly here, and just to say that I did not enjoy it all that much. I would give it a positive rating. I would give it actually the same rating I gave The Good Nurse. And again, I'll talk about a lot of it in the review, so if you are curious to know why, you can check that out. I was very disappointed because it was a film I was super excited for, and it just didn't meet my expectations, unfortunately. And all in all, fell short of what I thought it was going to be, what I hoped it would be, and I will talk about it in the review. So if you are curious, you can stay tuned for that one. And then Ryan, when you see it, we can, of course, talk about it. So then let us move on to Wendell and Wild. It didn't take that long. Elon has some thoughts about this, but first, let's hear what Ryan has to say.
All right. What I thought about Wendell and Wild, I was excited going into this because Henry Selick, great director, last film since Coraline, so I was hyped, right? And then great reviews, like very positive reviews from everyone. So I watched it, and it was, yeah.
I'd just like to push back a little bit. And say that I saw the critic, Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot reviews were good, but when it came out of, was it Toronto? I think it premiered at Toronto Film Festival. I saw a lot of people that just in my circles, like Twitter and whatnot, were not the biggest fans. So I went into this thinking it wasn't all that special, but I guess you went into this thinking it was going to be something quite special.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
I had only seen positive things. So, and then
Ryan, your audio
wasn't incredible.
Yeah, glitching. It was good, but not incredible. Your audio, you're in and out. Okay, all right.
Hello.
Yeah. Keep going.
Is it better?
Yeah, a little bit. Keep going.
All right. It's a very interesting story. I want to comment on what Elon said. Elon said that he has a friend who watched it and didn't like it and thought it was a copy of multiple other movies. And I would like to know what other movies those are. They're probably like Nightmare Before Christmas, maybe Coraline even, Corpse Bride, stuff like that. Because Henry Selick and Tim Burton have very similar working things, movies very similar.
Yeah.
So a lot of those movies are similar to each other.
Well, the movies you just listed are all
especially because those are all animation. No, Tim Burton directed Corpse Bride.
Oh, Corpse Bride. I didn't hear you say that. Is my audio delayed for you? You keep responding pretty late. I guess so. It's like a Wi-Fi thing?
No.
You're just taking years to respond?
It seems fine to me.
Okay. Anyway.
All right, say something.
Hello. Yeah, so that took like a minute for you to respond.
What the hell?
Here, I'm gonna say
I said it like
statement,
directly
and then you're gonna repeat the statement, okay? And I'm gonna count on my hand how long it takes, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say repeat after me. Wendell and Wild.
Repeat after me, Wendell and Wild.
Alright, apparently you're very laggy too in the chat. I don't know what's going on with you. And it took you like 5 seconds to finish the statement.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't know.
Yeah, you're lagging.
Why?
You're lagging on us. What did you say about your Wi-Fi? Buddy, hello?
My camera quality is good.
Yeah, that's debatable. That is debatable.
What do you mean it's debatable? No,
you're frozen and you're
like regular camera quality.
What?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. I have no idea what's going on, buddy. I'm going to talk to the chat while you get that sorted out. Maybe reboot. No, don't reboot, for God's sakes. I don't know. Elon says, I've seen a lot of testimonies that conflict yours. I assume he's talking about All Quiet on the Western Front. And that's fine. I know a lot of people absolutely adore the film. And I don't blame them for it. They give some good reasons. I was just not one of those people. Alex says 102, only 48 more. I would appreciate if not all of my subscribers were Al-Qaim, but that's okay. Angela Dubofsky says Hocus Pocus 2, a film that came out a few weeks ago. I've not seen, I don't intend to see, but I guess she's just mentioning that it exists. There's no question or anything there. So, Ryan, are you back? Hello?
Hello.
Alright, are you there? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm here.
I don't know what's going on. Alright, Ryan, will you just then unmute me on the call that we're on, okay? And then use that audio so that it's more fluid, because you're taking hella long to hear me.
Unmute you on the call that we're on?
Yeah, so that you can hear me quicker.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're not on a call.
Oh, right. We were. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll just have to deal with this, I guess, because we're 20 minutes in. Alright, well, anyway, sorry if I interrupt you then, because I probably will. Elon says... You
have multiple times.
Yeah, well, I have no choice. You can't hear me. Elon says, my friend specifically mentioned Nightmare. Elon is spamming. Can somebody... I can't do anything about this. I don't know why he's doing this.
Oh, yeah, look, wait, I want to talk about this.
Oh, you there?
Elon said he mentioned Nightmare Before Rector.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. And Hercules, I have not seen Hercules, so I don't know about that. But
okay. Well then, anyway, sorry. Continue. What you were saying about similar styles to Tim Burton and Henry Selick. Are you there, Ryan? Okay.
So of course, and I can't say anything about Hercules because I don't know about it. So. Okay.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Nightmare Before Christmas is similar, as Ryan said, because he directed the film. Obviously, when you say the style is similar, that just means stop motion, right? Stop motion in this sort of dark atmosphere, like with a Nightmare Before Christmas or a Coraline or something. Hercules, it's been a while since I've seen too, but I'm not sure I understand that comparison necessarily. David Dubosky says go Falcons, absolutely, even though today was a little maybe not so behind that statement for most of the game. And Elise says boo Panthers, absolutely. The Panthers are bad. Anyway, Wendell and Wild, Ryan, besides the complaint that it's similar to other films, what do you think about the film itself?
I enjoyed a lot about it. There's like a lot of good moments, and Key and Peele give great performances as Wendell Wild, and I think it's a very fun movie for kids to watch. And so you should. I recommend most people watch it. They'll probably enjoy it, I think. But then negatives. There were some parts. There were like some parts of dialogue where it's too. I don't know. It was kind of like Amsterdam when they were telling you the themes, but not nearly as bad dialogue, and it was like that kind of when it does that. That kind of like ruins it. Yeah. And then there were some voice acting parts that I didn't enjoy. I don't know if this is but like Raul, there were some parts the voice acting seemed very dull. There was like no emotion behind it. It was probably intentional, but I just feel like it had a negative effect on the film in some moments. Yeah. It was very strange to me because there would be like a big moment, and then Raul's character would say something like. And I don't know like what they said, but they say it very dull and it ruined the moment kind of.
Yeah, I'll just take it one by one, I guess, what you said. One, okay, first of all, I want to touch on the animation, which I think is the key thing here. And the animation is absolutely brilliant. Like Nightmare Before Christmas is truly one of my favorite films of all time, stop motion, and that was like 20 years ago at this point. Actually, next year it will have been 30, right? 2003, 2013, 2023. So almost 30 years ago. And it is remarkable to see how far we've come, because the animation in every single frame of this thing is absolutely astounding. So no complaints about the animation. It is very good. It is very fitting of its atmosphere. I will say, you said it's good for kids. I would very much agree with you. A lot of it felt... and actually, this is a complaint of mine. I don't know if you knew this. You certainly could not know this, having seen the film. Nobody would guess this. But I believe the film was PG-13. Did you know that? Glitching. What you say?
I didn't know that, but I probably could have guessed that. There was some...
Right, there's some dark stuff in there.
I didn't know that, but I probably could have guessed that due to some dark moments and swear words in throughout.
I don't remember swear words, but I guess they're there. I guess I'm tone deaf to that kind of stuff. But
There were.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. But the film, like, you watching it, you would not expect this to be a PG-13 kind of film. Because there are many moments, and specifically the characters of Wendell and Wild are intended to be very comedic, but because they're Key and Peele, obviously. But they come off as just very childish, right? Like, this is just not what I was expecting, and almost disappointed by the level of, kiddishness that the comedy would stoop to sometimes, because it felt like a cheap gag, a cheap laugh of sorts, specifically with the characters of Wendell and Wild, but I noticed it repeatedly. I will say also, I didn't notice any voice acting problems, but Raul as a character was, in general, just very stiff, and then also absolutely correct on the preaching front, similar to Amsterdam, where the characters would just say the themes. Like, again, this feels like a kid's film. That's something that happens in a kid's film, because kids don't always understand the subtle implications behind a theme. And that's fine, but, like, who is the film for, right? If it like a Pixar film, isn't, unless you're Lightyear, your themes aren't being told to the audience, because it's cheap, it's lazy, and yet they do it in this film. So that was certainly disappointing. And then also, the film is it's very quick, but some of the scenes are just so rushed. Like, I was just kind of blown away by how quick they would move from one thing to another, or how quick a character would say a line just to get to the next point. And I don't know, how much of that is because it's stop motion or just poor editing or something like that. Because once you film stop motion, it's hard to edit around what you filmed, I would imagine. Like you in another film, animation or even live action, I feel like it's easier to edit in lines and stuff like that, or just make a scene longer. You can grab from other takes, but I don't know. Look, that's just, I don't know much about stop motion in general. Elk says kids film but PG-13. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And so it was a little bit disappointing. But overall, I thought the narrative was pretty cool. I liked what they were going for. Certainly, I really liked the animation. So, not too many complaints there. Overall positive on Wendell and Wild. I actually gave all three films the exact same rating. So Netflix, you're doing something either wrong or right, depending on your opinion of success. Mediocrity, if that's your goal, then congratulations, because you've succeeded. Ryan, any thoughts on anything I've said?
I forgot to even mention the animation. I'm gonna be honest, I did not know it was stop motion until the end, when they played the credits and showed them making the stop motion of it.
Wow, that's quite the confession. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm glad. I respect the honesty, but I don't know how that's possible. But okay.
It just looked like straight up.
Well, yeah, it was very good. It was very, very good.
And then I gave it a higher rating than you. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And the fact that it was a kids film, I do think, like, through the dialogue, script, and themes and messages, it is one of the target audiences is kids. Obviously, not only kids should watch it, like I still enjoyed it, and I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of adults would enjoy it too. But I think the fact that it's PG-13, a lot of kids won't watch it now, even though like they still should, because a lot of the stuff will go over their head. I know
Yeah.
you didn't notice the cussing, but I did going into
Alina
it,
has
thinking of it as
corroborated
like a
your statement, by
yeah.
the way. So
We watched it together and we called it out
okay,
while it was happening.
all right.
Yeah,
So that's why you know.
it
Yeah.
was
Okay.
interesting.
Okay. So yeah, overall, Wendell and Wild, I think we both liked it. It was probably my favorite of the three films this week, and it was the most unexpected for me because, as I heard mid things, but I did enjoy the film overall, though it had its problems. It had its fair share. Elon says best Disney movies a while ago. I wasn't aware it was a question, but I'm only now realizing that it might have been. So I guess when I think
I
best Disney, oh yeah, you
I
take
thought
this
that
one.
was him saying
Hercules.
Nightmare Before Christmas and Hercules are the best Christmas
Yeah,
Disney
that's possible.
movies.
Well, look, anyway,
Uh,
I'll answer the question.
but
When I think best Disney movies, I think, well, actually, yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas is probably the best Disney movie, in my opinion. I adore that film. I'm not including Pixar because that would be an absolute steamroll for them. They have like 10 of the best Disney movies, if you count them, because they're an incredible studio. I think Lion King. I think Aladdin. I think, God, what else? Ryan, feel free to enlist some.
are we including Star Wars and Pixar
No,
films?
don't be nonsensical.
Oh,
That is outrageous.
okay. Um, I'm trying to think, but a lot of Pixar films come to mind.
Yeah, I know, because
No.
they're just that good. They truly are the best to ever do it. All right, anyway, I'll let you think. I'm going to answer a few of these. Sam says, let's be real, PG-13 equals 5-year-old audience. And with Marvel movies these days, you might be right. Alina, the plot was all over the place. I assume she's talking about Wendell and Wild. I agree, and I think that would have to do again with the editing and just the rush nature of the film because it had so many plot lines. Actually, you know what? I definitely agree, and that's something that I didn't touch on because there's so many characters here. Like there's this school. Wow, the more I think about it, just the more plot lines are in this film that just all have to be fit into this hour 40 edited film. So you have the schoolgirl and her parents, which is just a completely disconnected like plot line for a bit of it. She goes on her own little adventure to ask her parents what they're doing. There's a staff member at the school who's like got his own motives and goals. It's all very,
Are
very
you
odd.
talking about Siobhan,
Yeah, or whatever. Shavana. What was her name?
the Klax Corp?
Yeah,
Siobhan,
Klax Corp.
the
Yeah, but what about
Siobhan,
the dude who, the
Klax
dude
Corp
at the,
janitor in the
yeah, the
wheelchair.
janitor? Like, what are we doing here? The guy feels like a fully fleshed out character, and yet he's only serves like one purpose in the film. And then he gets like 4 scenes.
Yeah,
It makes no sense.
yeah.
So the film is just very odd. And, yeah, I don't know what the purpose of having all these characters was. But, I don't know. Okay, we're getting a lot of comments. Hercules up there. Elk says, I got to rewatch. Frozen. Frozen's a good film. I don't know about best. Oh, Zootopia, Wreck-It Ralph. These are some great Disney films of the past. Moana, phenomenal. I really like Zootopia.
Moana.
Inside Out is an S. That's Pixar. Cars is also Pixar, and both of those are phenomenal and would be some of the best Disney films. But they're Pixar, so I'm not counting them. The movie was very inclusive, though. That's another point. Alina should run this show because she's bringing up stuff I keep forgetting. I was a fan of the film's inclusivity. I really liked not only, the main characters here are black, the main girl, and then obviously her family. And a lot of the film is about gentrification. The main plot of the film is about this company establishing private prisons. That's not the kind of story you get in a kid's film, right? And I know this isn't technically a kid's film, but I'm going to call it one because it functions like one in a lot of the ways. So that was very impressive. And then also you have a transgender character here. And it's not just a transgender character thrown into it. This is like, they really focus on the fact that this character is transgender. And so I appreciate that just like they didn't have to do that, obviously. But it was a nice inclusion to have that kind of stuff. What were your thoughts on the inclusivity?
Um, inclusivity. I sometimes inclusivity it's too forced, but in this film they did it a lot better than it being forced in there. So I enjoyed it
Yeah,
being inclusive.
yeah, I'm with you. Sam says he's never seen the first full Cars, and he is wasting his life there because, wow, what a film. Ryan, let's move on to TV unless you have anything else to say about Wendell Wild.
You should watch it.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would say it's worth a watch. Andor episode 8. Phenomenal episode. Phenomenal episode. Do you want to start off?
Yep. All right. Yeah. So I don't know if I said this last time, but episode 7 was my favorite out of all of them.
You didn't.
Maybe I said that.
You didn't.
And
To my
now
recollection.
episode 8 is my second favorite. 2 great back-to-back episodes. They're not. It's not like your favorite, which was the 6th,
That's correct.
where it's like great action packed. It was a lot more dialogue based and, like you said, political encounters and all this stuff. It's so good, great scenes. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this episode. Everyone should watch Andor. Watch if you haven't, Star Wars fans especially. You gotta watch it.
1000%. This show is not
It's
getting.
really it's building to something. Again, just like what you said about the 3-season
3 episode
thing. I
arc.
don't know if the
Yeah.
next episode is. How many episodes is this show running for?
12. They have said they're doing a 3 episode arc kind
12.
of style thing. So there will definitely be a climax of some sorts to the past 2 in the next one this Wednesday. So
Interesting. And I don't want to spoil. I think you know what I'm talking about here. I don't know if we're allowed to say it or not. I got it spoiled to me.
mhm.
Like certain person is in the episode, an actor.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I like that, but it's interesting. Sorry.
Huh. Okay. Well, first of all, Alex says I think that's thanks to Key and Peele. I assume he's talking about Wendell and Wild's inclusivity, which I guess is
Well-
possible. I don't know who wrote the script, but yeah, they might have had a hand in it. Andor episode 8. So Ryan says the last 2 episodes were his favorite. Episode 6 is still my favorite, but then it is going to go 8 and 7 because these episodes have been just phenomenal. The political intrigue is on point. I tune in every episode with just the biggest smile across my face, and I hate to say it, I really do, but this is what the prequels should have been. It should have been high quality production because this is what George was going for. He was going for this level of world building. He just didn't have the writing to back it up. And this show has the writing. Let's not kid ourselves here. This is some peak television writing, for God's sakes. We're talking about character writing. We're talking about dialogue. It feels so true to this universe. It feels like a true Star Wars story. It's a critique on our society in so many ways, and that's what George always wanted Star Wars to be. So Andor is in many ways maybe one of the most faithful Star Wars reproductions yet out of the Disney era, in my opinion. And it is absolutely phenomenal. If you are a Star Wars fan and you have not checked this out yet, you are absolutely delusional because it is phenomenal. What else is there to say? Great episode, great world building for sure. I was talking with one of my friends and he's mentioned to me this is some of the best world building. The best world building, I think he said, in the Disney era. And I might have to agree with him. I think you got some really great stuff here that is being explored. And I'm excited to see, again, the climax of this 3 episode structure in the next episode and how the season concludes. I've been really liking it. Ryan, you mentioned the actor. And again, I don't know if we should spoil. But so if you can say your reason, I don't know if you can, but I would like to talk about it if you can without spoiling.
I don't know. I feel like this Andor show. I don't know how many. Is it? Are they planning to do any more than this one season?
2 seasons, I think, is the plan.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
All right. So it's not as bad, but like, I don't like it when some actors are that important, you know?
Huh. So,
That's just how it felt to me.
just to clarify, you're saying that
But
the
also,
actors...
it's not too bad because there's...
Yeah.
You can go.
The actor's stage presence is what you're saying. Like, he's too big an actor that it took you out of it, is what you're saying? You're lagging on me. And you're giving me dead air.
Not exactly that. It's a little confusing. And also... Hello?
Hello? You there? Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Alright. As I was saying, there's another thing where that I don't want to spoil again, and I didn't even notice until I looked it up and read something about the episode. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. You okay?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't. I don't. You didn't know until you...
A certain character introduced to, I think. It has to do with...
Oh, yes,
Rogue
I
One.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about that?
I think it was interesting.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah, I agree.
Good introduction.
I was super excited to see that. Yeah. Man, this audio delay thing is really annoying. You keep responding to everything I say, like...
Yes, it is.
5 seconds late. But anyway, we'll work through it. All in all, Andor episode 8 is great. I really actually like the actor, contrary to Ryan's opinion. I guess maybe we will talk about that next episode. I don't know, because it'll probably be around next episode as well, and by then it will be less of a spoiler. And I really liked also the character that he mentions, because that character is just an incredible character. He's in not only Andor, and I don't mean to spoil, but you'll only know this if you're a big Star Wars fan like I am. He's not only in Andor, he's in the Clone Wars. He's in Star Wars Fallen Order, the video game. He's in a ton of Star Wars properties. And he is, of course, in Rogue One, like Ryan said. So this is a long-established character that I was very glad to see show up. And a nice surprise. And I think he really fits in the show. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't only talking about that character, though.
Oh. Well, then I guess I don't know what you're
There's
talking about.
another that's in Rogue One. I knew that one. About that one when I saw the character, but I didn't. It was one of them in the prison.
Oh yeah, well I didn't know that when watching, but I saw that online that one of the guys was on the crew in Rogue One. But yeah, but that's like just a neat little Easter egg, less so than like, because I didn't know that at all until somebody pointed it out online. But I don't remember it at all from that film.
Going to collaborate throughout the show. Yeah. Leading up to Rogue One.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to see.
Nice that the connection was established. The chat is awfully dry, so maybe talk in it, because that would be nice. Let's move on to the next television show, which is Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. You did not see this one, right?
Correct.
Okay. Took you like a minute to respond. I'll say most of my thoughts on the review for this one. It is a horror anthology collection on Netflix. I was very much looking forward to it because I love Guillermo del Toro, and I despised it, I think is probably the applicable word. I absolutely hated Cabinet of Curiosities. I thought almost every episode was poor and very disappointed overall. Very disappointed. I will talk about it in a review if you want to see that. If you've seen it and you liked it, like a lot of people, you are probably freaking out in the chat right now. You'll just have to wait because I'm not explaining myself to you. So let's talk about Tales of the Jedi. Ryan, you saw some of this, if I'm not mistaken. You're glitching on me. Hello, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
You hear me?
I can.
Hello.
I can.
Alright. I only watched the... What?
Talk? You there?
Hello? I only watched
Yes.
the first 2 episodes, if you can hear me.
Okay, I can
Yeah.
hear you. And what did
Hello.
you think of them?
I only... Alright. I did not enjoy the animation. I don't know if that's just me. I don't... Like, with nowadays animation, you see films like where it's so hyper realistic, and a lot of things don't go for that, and it's still great. Like obviously, Wendell Wild, it's a hyper realistic animation, but still great animation. But this animation, it was very like choppy at moments, and it took away from my enjoyment of it. And the first 2 episodes were also pretty basic. It was good to see characters that us Star Wars fans love, and the like parts of their origin. Show seems sort of childish so
Okay.
far, kind of.
I've had enough. You gotta stop. One, let's talk about animation. You can't compare it to a film because the budget is way smaller. But look, if you don't like the animation, that's a personal thing. I get it. I'm not an anime fan for the same reason. The animation really bothers me, and because of just the choppiness. But I mean, look, I had no problem with the animation. Maybe this is just because I like the Clone Wars. It's a show that I've seen before, and a film that I've seen before. But a show that I've seen before. I think the animation was very good for the current standards. I think especially when you compare it to the Clone Wars. And just the style that it's going for, it has improved immensely. It's obviously not going to be the level of an animated film because Ryan says no to what part?
The animation is worse than Clone Wars animation. It's like it deteriorated.
Wow, I just think that's objectively untrue. I think if you were to do a side-by-side comparison, you would see that the animation in Tales of the Jedi is better. But yeah, I don't know what to say to that. Or at least similar, at least the same, if not better. But and then you've only seen the 2 episodes, so it's not completely fair to judge it off the content, which you didn't do. So that's fair. But I will say that episode 1 is actually bad. I did not enjoy episode 1. I think it is very boring, very bland, very uninteresting. But everything else is very, very good, especially the Dooku stuff. So stick with it and it's very short. So to all the Star Wars fans in the chat, I absolutely love Tales of the Jedi. I think it's brilliant, and especially the way. And I have a review, so I'll leave most of the thoughts there, and that you can check out on this channel. But it is very good in the way it fleshes out. It's a companion piece, is how I described it in my review. Just like the Clone Wars is. The Clone Wars is a companion piece to the prequels, and Tales of the Jedi is a companion piece to Ahsoka and to Dooku. And I think it absolutely excels as a companion piece to both, but particularly Dooku. Because the way it manages to flesh out this character who we know stuff about, but he's still a bit mysterious and intriguing, it gives us so much backstory there, and just deepens him as a character so much. It's just so juicy for Star Wars fans. If you like Star Wars, if you like the prequels, if you like Count Dooku, if you like the Clone Wars, if you answered yes to any of those questions, you have to check out this show. It's a necessity because it's very short. Each episode is like 15 minutes we're talking here. There's only 6 episodes, and you will love it. It will deepen your knowledge of everything. I adore it. I think it's great. Ryan, I hope you stick with it and keep at it. Elk says, Guillermo del Toro missed. I love the guy. I really, really do. So I'm going to defend him a little bit and just say that he produced it. He was the executive producer. He didn't direct each episode. He obviously had some say in it. I won't deny that. And a lot of the creatures in the episodes feel very reminiscent of something he would do. But at the end of the day, I don't consider this a Guillermo del Toro project like I would The Shape of Water or Nightmare Alley. Sort of a half and half project of his. But if I had to, gun to my head, say whether or not he missed, I would have to say maybe he did. Elk says it looks almost exactly like Clone Wars, but there's something I just don't like that they changed about it. I don't know if he has something specific in mind or it's just something he can't put to a name. But if you can think of the thing, I would be happy to talk about it. And also, Elk is the only one carrying this chat right now. So if anybody else wants to step in and actually, make this a real forum, that'd be great. Ryan, you were going to respond?
Yeah. Did you hear what I said or no?
No, I didn't.
And I think he can't really point out exactly what it is, but it feels like the animation's very similar, yeah. But there's just something about it I just don't enjoy about it.
Okay.
And it hinders my liking of the show.
Look, I don't know what it is, but I'm sorry to hear that because I very much loved it. But I do hope you still stick with it just for the story, if not anything else. Lena says, do not know much about Star Wars. Fair. That is fair. But again, you can ask questions about anything if they come to mind. But I appreciate that. We kind of have to move because we're 50 minutes in and we still have music, news, and discussion and going forward to talk about. So let's kind of speed this up. Lift Me Up, new song by Rihanna for the Black Panther Wakanda Forever soundtrack. Did you listen to it? Ryan, are you there? This is getting really annoying.
Yep.
Okay, did you listen to Lift Me Up?
I said I listened to it once.
Okay. You listened to it once is what I heard. I listened to it a few times. People are saying W song in the chat. I really liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I thought, obviously, I think it's going to be Waterworks in the theater for me, man. Chadwick Boseman meant a lot to me as an actor. He meant a lot to a lot of people. And obviously his character of T'Challa was brilliant. And I think the film will do great honor to his legacy. And I know this film is the end credit song, so I'm just expecting the film to end absolutely brutally. And for this to just really be there for me. Be by my side, the Rihanna song. As I cry inconsolably in the theater. Because that's what this film is. It really, just listening to it, I imagined it as a testament to Chadwick Boseman and to T'Challa. And I think it was really brilliant. Really beautiful. Really sweet. I downloaded the instrumental just because I really like the backing track here. And I also know that she has another song on the soundtrack. I don't know what it is because it hasn't released yet. But I am excited to hear that. And I like this. Is it an All the Stars? No. Is it on the level of the Kendrick soundtrack? No. But it's a different thing. It's trying to be different. I don't think it's fair to compare the two. I don't think I'm going to listen to it, on my own just because it is kind of a song that fits within the context of the film. And I'm not sure how much it fits outside of that. But I enjoyed the song. I thought it was very good for what it was. Ryan, you have any other thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. All right, let's talk. Elk says we're not going to talk about Terrifier 2. Ryan says we will, but I'm certainly not because I haven't seen the film and I don't really have any interest in it because it seems like cheap, schlocky horror, and I don't feel like supporting that or wasting my time to see that. But Ryan, if you have something to say about that, you're more than welcome to.
No.
Oh, whoops.
Right now or later?
Hey, I mean, no, why not? Go for it.
Alright. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the first one, Terrifier, in preparation to watch Terrifier 2, which I'll watch soon. And I wanted to talk about, now that he's brought it up, how crazy it is that the box office pulled in like 7.6 mil, I think it was, on a 250K budget. And I think the way, and obviously all of that is because of social media and whatnot. I see all this stuff about Terrifier 2. Everyone's talking about it. It's very popular. People are passing out, or they were. I don't know. It doesn't seem scary or that gory, but like the way a movie can be like so popularized kind of through social media is really insane. You know, if you want your movie to do well, try and work around that.
Yeah, marketing is the entire. I mean, a film's box office is nothing without marketing. It's incredible. I haven't seen a ton of social media stuff about Terrifier 2. I didn't know that, but yeah, I don't know. Huh?
It's not them marketing. Like Smile did a lot of great marketing.
That's what I was going to
so
say.
well.
I was going to mention Smile.
But Terrifier, yeah, and it did incredible box office. The ratio incredible.
Yeah.
But this, I didn't see any Terrifier 2 marketing themselves. It was all people, like, I go to school, or people are watching on their computers, everyone's talking about it. Like, it's actually pretty crazy, and they're not doing any marketing themselves. It's just a ton of people doing it for them.
Well, look, I mean, I didn't know that, but obviously it's good always to get word of mouth. I don't know that you should have mentioned that people are watching it on computers at school, because I think that's illegal. So you better keep those names silent unless you want the feds knocking on the door. Anyway, interesting. I don't think I'm going to see it still. I didn't know you saw the first one, but you're more than welcome to talk about it on the show after. Just because, again, it looks like very cheap, schlocky horror. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure the first is similar. It's like just like B-movie stuff.
No, I'll do a short little review of the first one now. Acting, awful, atrocious. So many problems with the film. The gore doesn't look real at all. It's not really enjoyable. Hopefully the second's better, but I hear people saying the same stuff about it. Even though I also see people saying a lot of stuff about the second one being actually good, which is a little shocking after seeing the first one being as dull as it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That's exactly what I expected, and I'm just not interested. Alex says it really wasn't scary, just lots of gore, figures, and Sam says, Ryan, a list of the names and IP addresses. I think he works for the FBI. Let's get into trailers, because we got an insane amount to talk about. This show is going to go on for like an hour, 20 minutes, man. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the big trailer of the week. Am I glitching? Hello? Hang on, am I there? Hello, am I frozen? Ryan, do you hear me?
No. Yeah, I hear you.
You hear me? Oh, not again. Not again.
Oh, your screen's...
Why?
You're gonna robot voice probably. I can hear you fine, but I don't know if they can.
Alright guys, tell me if my audio... I don't know what's going on. Ryan, keep talking about something. Maybe Terrifier or something while I figure this out.
Alright. Terrifier... Yeah, he said the ending of Terrifier 2 is such an awful conclusion. That makes sense, because the first one has plot holes in it. And I don't really understand completely. The script, like there was a lot of lacking in the script, in the story, like the storyline. So...
Oh. Am I back, Ryan?
It made a lot of sense. Ethan, your audio is fine.
Am I back?
So it's just your screen, but you're back. Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Ryan, are you watching me on the live stream, or are you watching me in Streamlabs?
Well, I have the live stream open most of the time, but I switched to Streamlabs now, like every now and then. Why?
Because I'm wondering why you're hearing me so late, and why you... Okay, I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay, I got no idea. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is the big trailer of the week. Ryan, take it away.
All right. I'm very exciting character.
Your audio is all over
And
the place.
this movie looks very interesting. There's a lot of What do you mean?
It's like some words you say are in, some words you say are out. I don't know what's going on with you, man. It must be Wi-Fi, but
That is not good.
no, it is not. All right. Anyway, just keep talking. I'll try.
You should start.
Okay. All right. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I am excited for this film because I'm excited for pretty much any MCU new project. I think Ryan was saying it there, but I didn't quite hear him. I don't know if you guys did. But Kang is obviously the draw here. The most exciting part of the film easily because he's a big MCU villain going forward, and Jonathan Majors just plays him excellently. He played He Who Remains in Loki. So, I mean, obviously that was a great rendition of a Kang-like character. So I'm excited to see it. The trailer itself, I will also talk about the Elton John cover of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which is just a brilliant song, one of my favorite of all time. And just the rendition here, making it sound very epic, is cool. Besides that, the trailer, I was not a fan of. Very, very average, basic trailer. Looks like just a ton of visual effects. One of the least favorite things a film can do, in my opinion, is just be a visual effects overload. And it looks like they're doing that with the Quantum Realm. I hope to God that the visual effects looks good enough so that it doesn't become distracting, and that the plot is, interesting enough. But the trailer, I was not the biggest fan of, slightly let down, but I am still looking forward to it. Again, pretty much entirely for Kang. Ryan, any thoughts on that?
I agree, and you definitely see the visual effects coming through, and they were gonna do that already. It being Quantumania,
right?
It's like sort of like Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. They're gonna try and go crazy with visual effects and whatnot. Hopefully, the visual effects is good, and the workers are not getting overworked. But yeah, the trailer was not it's nowhere near the same as the Black Panther trailer. Black Panther trailer,
Right.
The first one is incredible. My hype stayed around the same level, and as you said, I'm just mainly hyped to see Kang and what he's gonna do. And I was hyped for MODOK, but after seeing the rumored photos released of what he looks like and him being like a robot and whatnot, I'm not as hyped anymore. And Bill Murray's in it, which is interesting. So we'll see how it is.
I forgot MODOK was in the film until you mentioned that. And then also, Bill Murray's going through a bit of controversy right now with, I think, his on-set behavior. So I saw some people, saying maybe not the best time to show him a new trailer. But yeah, the film looks interesting. It's an Ant-Man film. The first one is, pretty good just because it's fun. I really don't like the second one. But, I'm expecting it to be fun at the very least. Nothing incredible, but fun. Majors looks awesome. Sam says 100% agree. Incredible actor. Bro, if cinema conversations was a thing during Loki, really all those original Marvel shows, I was going crazy. You can check out all those reviews. I was a nut for Marvel back then. Still am. What about Endgame? That was so much VFX. It's an excellent question. And I would say that the difference is that not even if it was visual effects, Marvel movies are notorious for having, a lot of their backgrounds be visual effects when it's not necessary. I'm reminded of this whole controversy about No Way Home and Black Widow, but Black Widow's the one I remember, where Yelena and Natasha are just sitting at a picnic table at some outside restaurant, and the whole thing was visual effects behind them when it absolutely did not need to be. It could have been shot on location, but they shot it on visual effects. And it's just, when you don't notice it, it's completely different. But since the Quantum Realm is a complete, just endless, environment of visual effects, it all depends on if it looks good at the end of the day, if it's convincing. Because the Lord of the Rings films, actually that's not a great example, a lot of that was shot on location, but there's a ton of films that use backgrounds, use visual effects for their backgrounds and look great, and you don't recognize it. That doesn't take away, but when it's so obviously visual effects, I just get sick. The film that comes to mind most with this is Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and it feels like every shot of the film is just caked in visual effects, and it's just completely frustrating and annoying and endless and just disappointing. So I hope that's not the case with Quantumania, is my thing. Ryan, any other thoughts, or should we move on?
Um, I agree. I hope it's not the same thing. I want to see good dialogue throughout the film, good pacing, and I'm pretty sure there will be good acting, and I think we can have a good Marvel movie on our hands.
Hope so. Hope so. After the disappointment of Phase 4. I'm going to talk about the Succession Season 4 trailer, and if you want to add anything, you can, but I know you don't see this. You haven't seen the show, so I don't know that you would. It's a nice little teaser. It's not very long, but it just gets me excited. The show Season 4 is dropping in spring of 2023. If you haven't seen the show, you should absolutely watch it because it's very good. And the teaser got me a little hyped. Ron, anything to say or no?
No, I decided not to watch it so I wouldn't get it spoiled to me because I've only seen parts of season 1,
Okay,
like maybe halfway.
fair enough. Well, it's a great show. Sam says Avatar: The Way of Water about to be shot on Pandora. With the amount of money they spent on that franchise, it might be cheaper at this point to just build the planet. Yo, S4, that's correct. Bardo dropped a second trailer. I don't really care that much. We don't have to talk about it too much. But, the film actually looks kind of good. A lot of people were trashing it a lot. But I am excited to see it. They cut some content. But I like the trailer. I like what it was going for. And we'll see if I like the film. Thoughts?
Yeah, I have something to say. So first trailer, I remember the first trailer is alright, a little all over the place. You told me like when someone watches this, they don't know what the film's about.
Right.
This one does a lot better at telling you like it's about this guy and his story and all this stuff. It does a lot better in that regard. I think one issue I had is the direction. Throughout the trailer, the shots, like some of the shots, it was like too repetitive, a lot of Dutch angles, and a lot of like I don't know, like a Wes Anderson type perfect shot, and it just seemed a little repetitive to me. Then I don't know if it'll bug me in the movie. The movie's a lot longer. Maybe they
Oh, your audio
just
cut out a little bit.
picked a certain assortment of shots to put into what happened. I don't know. It's a little strange. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was a complaint.
Yeah, it definitely looks. I don't know if it bothered me, but it definitely looks like insanely over-directed is the wrong word because, again, it didn't bother me. But it's very clear that every shot, and we know this about Iñárritu. He really likes to be, he's a bit of a perfectionist, and that's okay. But that's just interesting. So I definitely agree that the shots in the trailer all looked very over-directed, and obviously the main complaint that I saw about the film is that it's very pretentious and overdone. So that tracks. Alina has asked you a question in the chat, just to let you know.
Yeah.
The Guardians Holiday Special. The Guardians Holiday Special. Trailer drop. Ryan, thoughts?
I'm hyped. I think this will be a fun. I don't know how long. How long is it? Do you know?
I think an hour. I think about an hour.
An hour. Yeah, I'm really hyped for this. Then it'll be a fun little Guardians, an incredible Marvel group. I love the writing. I love the actors. I love the movies, and I'm gonna love the third 100%. It's gonna be incredible. So a fun little story for Christmas time. I'm excited to watch it. Trailer looks good. But there's also like parts of it, like Marvel comedy. It's a little, So I don't know. It could be a little bad.
Yeah.
In that regard. Similar to that regard, but
possible. Yeah, I very much enjoyed it. It looks like classic Guardians fun. I'm excited to see it. I guess this is the actual end of Phase 4, not Black Panther, so I'll have to wait to do my Phase 4 ranking until this one comes out. But I'm excited to see it. Apparently, it also ties directly into Guardians 3, so I guess the plot for that. And I'm excited to see that. All in all, looks like a fun time. The Pale Blue Eye trailer dropped. I'm really going to try and speed through this stuff because we got a ton to talk about. But looks fine. I've heard some okay things. But Yeah, I don't know if I'm excited, but I will watch. It comes out next year, I guess. Directed by Scott Cooper, stars Christian Bale and Harry Melling, and who plays Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know much about the film. Trailer looks okay. What were your thoughts, Ryan?
It's like a 1-minute trailer, so there's
Yeah.
really not much there. You already know Christian Bale is going to deliver an incredible performance. I don't know what the film's about. Edgar Allan Poe, I saw some Ravens in there. Looks interesting. I'll be watching. Looks like a little war film kind of too. So
Yeah, I
hopefully
don't
it's
know what
good.
to expect.
But I don't know too much off a 1-minute trailer.
Exactly.
Which yeah.
What if EDPC wants Starbucks? He does, but he never gets asked. It's a real tragedy. And then one more trailer to talk about is the Santa Clauses. I have a lot to say about this trailer, actually. Ryan, I just want to know if you've seen it, first of all.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
You can start.
This looks horrendous, in my opinion. I thought the trailer looked absolutely awful. I think the show looks horrible. Completely unfunny, completely unnecessary. Retreading a lot of the same ground as the films, which are actually pretty good to my recollection. Again, it's been a while since I've seen them. But this is maybe a contender for one of the worst trailers of the year, along with Morbius, because I guess that was last year. But Ryan looks shocked to see my opinion on this. So I'd love to hear what he has to say.
No, it's not your opinion. I didn't know it was a show. I thought it was a movie.
No, yeah, I'm sorry to break the bubble to you, but it's a series. Yeah.
I did not know that. Interesting trailer. Yeah. A lot of the movies I don't like. I don't even know if I've seen all of them, but I know I've seen some of them, and they're pretty fun Christmas movies. You know, this one looks. It'll be appealing to a lot of people, and like family type people. I don't think I'll enjoy it though. I don't even know if I'm like, it depends on reviews if I'm even gonna watch it. I might not want to waste my time on it if the reviews are bad too. Yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna watch this one. Didn't think I would watch it before the trailer, and I certainly think so even less after the trailer. If somebody in the chat would do me a favor, or I guess whoever hears this, if you would tell me the current score of the Bills Packers game, that would be much appreciated. Anyway, Ryan and I are going to move on to some news, which we have a lot of. So let's get into it. First thing, Saw 10.
7 to 21.
7 to 21 who?
Bills are up.
Okay, that makes sense.
Bills are up.
All right, and what quarter? Third?
Second.
Oh, not even halftime. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Right? Bills.
Okay. Yeah, that's brutal. Hallmark movie, Al Qayyum says. Actually, Ryan, will you do me one more favor? Will you try and see if you can find Devin Single... Actually, no, don't do that, because I need you to talk. Somebody in the chat, if they could give me Devin Singletary's stats, if he has any touchdowns, receptions, anything like that, because he is on Elon's team in fantasy, who I haven't seen in the chat for almost the entire show, but if he's here, I really need him to do poorly for me to win. Ryan, you were going to say?
I agree with what Elk said about
Hallmark
movie. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and it's true. It seems definitely like a Hallmark movie. Ethan, do a hair reveal. I'm sorry to reveal it, but this actually is my hair now. I was so enamored with the Falcons that I got this installed on my head. Saw X, 0 TDs. That's excellent news. I could love some rushing stats if you don't mind putting that in there. Saw X is the next Saw film. 1 reception. Saw X is... Oh, Ryan's frozen. Ryan, are you 51 yards?
No,
Holy moly.
I'm watching the stream, and my guy's just not... I'm not moving. I'm stuck.
Yeah, that's true. Well, now you're back.
I don't know why. I am?
Yeah, you are on my... Well, not on the stream, but on my thing.
Okay, hopefully it'll...
Saw X is coming out. I've said that like a million times. How many times am I going to say Saw X? And the real news here, for anybody who cares, I'm not the biggest fan of the Saw franchise, but apparently the guy who plays the mastermind or whatever, Tobin Bell, is returning. So that's cool for all you Saw fans out there. I don't know if you exist, but good luck to you. Then we have The Fall Guy, which is a film by David Leitch, director of Bullet Train, director of John Wick. This guy's pretty hit or miss, but it stars Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and Ryan Gosling. So that's always pretty cool. I like to see that. Then you have big news. James Gunn and Pete Safran, it's impossible for you to have missed this one, are now going to be co-leading DC. This is huge. This is massive. Wow. DC has been a sinking ship for years. It's changed hands a few times. I think Walter Hamada led it for a long time. And obviously he went out with the change of the guard. But James Gunn, like Pete Safran, I don't know a ton about. I guess he's a film producer. He's worked with James Gunn a ton. But James Gunn getting a producing job of one of the biggest studios, one of the most in-demand studios in Hollywood. Congratulations to the guy. This is insane. What a career move for him. And I really like the guy. I really like his films. I think he knows what he's doing. I don't think he's going to try and make all DC films like a James Gunn film. I think he absolutely knows what he's doing. And so I have a lot of faith. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what his DC Studios produces. I'm very excited.
I agree. When I saw the news, I was like, wow, very big. James Gunn, he's worked on DC films before, like Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, and those were both two of the best DC content in recent years. Because DCU.
You're frozen, by the way. I don't know if
garbage. No, I did not know.
Okay. I don't know why, but you're really something on your end is messed up. We got to figure this out next time. But anyway, keep talking.
Yeah, maybe it's you.
No, I don't think it is because I think the chat.
What if it is?
It's possible, but I just don't think that.
Exactly.
I don't know what's going
on. All right.
It looks very funny.
I saw something. All right, that's nice. I saw some. It does look funny. I saw something. Saying that someone asked Kevin Feige.
No, I was going to talk about that next.
Oh my god, that was.
Yeah, that's wild.
Why'd they even that was pretty crazy. But I have hope in James Gunn to resurrect DC, put him back on the maps, help Warner Bros. Out from bankruptcy, and they need this.
DC's got a bright future. I like James Gunn at the helm. I'm excited to see it. And then, the Kevin Feige thing. I was going to talk about that. Look, I think it's a rumor. I haven't seen a ton of reputable sources confirming it, but it is just a funny thing. Funny. Even true or not, especially if true, what the hell? I mean, I guess shoot your shot. The guy was successful once, but he was never going to say yes to that, I fear.
Yeah.
But look, I think I'm excited to see it. I think Kevin Feige gave a statement saying, he's excited for James Gunn. He's a class act. So, let's see how it plays out. Elk says he doesn't believe in DC. I would probably have been with you. Well, actually, I wouldn't have been with you because they have a project like the Batman. They have the Batman universe, which is absolutely their golden goose right now. But I might have agreed with you a few years back. But now with this James Gunn news, I have renewed hope. I think because the IP here is undeniable. You can't deny that people like Superman and Batman are just billion-dollar characters. They just haven't been harnessed. So with somebody at the handling the reins that can harness them, it's a limitless potential. So that's what this is. Then I wanted to talk about we're getting new Star Wars film. I forgot who the writers were, but apparently somebody big. My bad, guys. But apparently set after Rise of Skywalker, which I found very, very interesting because I don't know how much left there is to explore after that period because obviously there's no more First Order. Rey, I guess, is not really a Jedi anymore, but she's still there. I don't really know what the plan is. But Ryan, what were your thoughts about the next Star Wars project being set after Rise of Skywalker?
We don't have too much information on this project, so I can't really talk too much about it. But the fact that it's after Rise of Skywalker is really interesting. I don't know what they're gonna do about it. What their main plot point is gonna be. Hopefully it's good. I love Star Wars. I hope it's similar to Andor, because Andor is one of the better and newer Star Wars content. Like Boba Fett is not very good, so hopefully it's more like Andor, less of Boba Fett, and we can get back on track to consistent good Star Wars content, because that's what I really want. I would love that. That'd be incredible.
Are you just gonna be frozen the entire time? Is that your plan, or?
Maybe I am. I don't know. I'm on the Streamlabs tab right now, and I'm fine. But when I go to the YouTube, I'm just staring at the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, man. But
I have something to tell you. I'm practicing my ventriloquism.
oh, you're back.
Am I standing still?
Well,
Oh,
so much for that. I think you're
But
lying.
then,
When you say Andor, when you say you hope it's more like Andor, do you mean quality or like tone and like story wise?
quality and dialogue strong. Not tone, just like how well Andor is being made, and you know.
Yeah, then I agree with
Yeah.
you because I don't think everything should strike the same tone as Andor, but obviously.
Yeah.
I would hope that the quality is up there. And again, you know, I'm just curious to see what they could possibly have to explore after Rise of Skywalker. Then you have the news that the Batman is dropping in 2025, which I'm not too disappointed about because this is expected. Batman Begins came out 2005, The Dark Knight came out 2008. That's a 3-year gap. Not to mention we have a ton of Batman projects in between to keep us, you know, excited about. And, you know, he hasn't even submitted a script yet. Matt Reeves. So take their time, make it good. Is my philosophy. Ryan,
I'll write up a quick script and send it to Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
Well, I've already on that film.
You know, he and I, Elon would know this, who is again not in the chat, disappointingly, but he and Matt Reeves and I have had a ton of back and forth communication, and I've sent him a few of my scripts. He hasn't responded, and he kind of disrespects me a little bit anytime I send him something new. But
has he ever?
I'm gonna keep trying.
Has he ever asked you for donations on his film?
Yeah. He said he needed some money, and I was happy to give him some. I mean, he's Matt Reeves, for God's sake.
It's Matt Reeves, yeah.
Yeah, I was not going to give. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, well, he asked me for like my entire like life savings, and I said, you know, if you need it for the film, you know, I like the movie,
It's
so,
worth it.
But I respect him, so I did it.
Yeah. Well, I loved the Batman. I love Matt Reeves. I love Robert Pattinson. I love the universe they made. I love the characters. I love Colin Farrell, Penguin. I love.
Wow.
It's all amazing.
Yeah.
And there's no bigger Batman fan than me. You know, like
Okay,
Ethan
I think we're gonna move on.
is not a bigger
That's
Batman fan than
definitely
me.
untrue.
Like every week I have
let's
a
carry
new
it on.
collection.
Yeah,
a new
okay,
addition
buddy.
to my collection.
Okay, yeah, you're just an addict. You don't actually love him like I do. Let's talk about Babylon.
I love him more.
Let's talk about Babylon, you son of a bitch. Because speaking of things I love more, not only Batman, I love Damien Chazelle more than you.
Okay.
So
no, don't even start that.
Babylon.
No.
Let's talk about the acting categories first of all, because there was a bit of a controversy. I don't know how much you are on Twitter, but what company? God, is it Paramount? Whatever distributor is doing Babylon, maybe Universal, I don't know, they released their For You consideration page where they list all the things they want to be nominated, and there was some trouble. There was some trouble because you did see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, they listed Brad Pitt as their lead actor. They listed Diego Calva as their supporting actor. And they listed Margot Robbie as their supporting actress. And people were saying, this is outrageous. Brad Pitt is clearly supporting. Diego Calva is clearly the lead. You can't do this. Based on the trailer, obviously. And then, of course, a few hours later, they changed it. So, nice little controversy there. I think, again, I haven't seen the film. The script leaked, and I know a lot of people are saying Diego Calva's character is definitely the lead, while Brad Pitt's character is definitely supporting. And, I guess we'll have to see. And I do think this is probably best for the film's Oscar chances in general. But the big news here, in my opinion, is that Margot Robbie is officially a supporting actress contender. Because the lead actress was an incredibly stacked category, especially ever since Michelle Williams moved in there from The Fabelmans, who was supposed to go supporting, according to a lot of people. And so Margot in supporting is extra competition in that category, where she's competing with the women talking people, Everything Everywhere All at Once, some of the whale actresses. A lot of competition there, and we'll see who gets in at the end of the day. Thoughts on this?
So yeah, I saw that, and I saw that they said it was a typo, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, they
you
said
know.
it was stale.
And also, I thought that they had. I know they changed Dale Calva to main and Brad Pitt to supporting. I thought they changed Margot Robbie to lead.
After,
Am I
did
wrong?
they? Oh, I don't know.
I
You might be right.
thought I saw that.
Wow. Well, that would be huge, and that would
Uh,
completely invalidate everything I just said. But yeah,
yeah,
it's possible. Well, then good luck to her because that category is absolutely insanely stacked. So, best of luck,
yeah.
Margot Robbie. And then also the length of the film. It is believed to be 3 hours 10 minutes, I believe, which is very long. And I think,
Yeah.
in my opinion, a little too long. But obviously, my judgment will, I will keep it until I see
Well,
the film to justify it if it deserves that length. But I believe that only truly the greatest of epics in American cinema deserve a 3 hour runtime. I don't put it past Damien Chazelle to create an epic that deserves its place in American cinema history. It's certainly possible. And we'll see if he does. I've heard the script is incredible, so I'm excited to see it. Thoughts on the length?
look, this is why I'm the bigger Damien Chazelle fan, because I know this movie is going to be a masterpiece, and I love a lot of my favorite movies are very long, so I don't have 3 hours and 10 minutes is very very long, but uh, I'm still gonna love this film. It's gonna make it harder to rewatch just
Yeah.
due to time, uh, and whatnot, and watch in general. I have to dedicate a little time, but obviously, if anything gets 3 hours and 10 minutes of my time, it's got to be Babylon. So hyped for this film. Damien Chazelle, incredible. La La Land is my favorite movie, and I know this film is gonna be great. Trailer looks great, and I'm excited for this. I know a
Good.
lot of people hate on long run times. I don't mind it as much, so I'm not hating on the runtime here.
Yeah, I'm not a long runtime fan, but it always has more to do with if the film deserves the runtime to me. If it makes the pacing, if the content really all
Yeah,
needs to be there. And most of the time, it's like a graph. It's like the longer, if x-axis is longer the film is, and y-axis is how much it deserves it, then a film can only be like 4 hours if it completely deserves it, right? So it's one of those. I don't know if I explained that well, but I hope you know what I mean. So, in the chat, all I ask of Babylon is to not be boring. Exactly. As long as the film keeps the audience engaged and is a compelling narrative, then it warrants 4 hours, in my opinion. Well, that's not true. It also, if the story actually fits 4 hours, if there's unnecessary scenes, stuff like that, and it's only 3 hours, so not 4 hours. But movies are getting too long. Elk says I generally agree. I think films don't always need to be as long as they are. There are some exceptions, but certainly way too many films are too long, in my opinion, these days. Really
I
not these
just
days, just
Elk
in
said
general.
Terrifier 2 is 2.5 hours
Like,
long,
that's insane.
and Sam, yeah, that's insane. Then Sam said 2 hours and 5 hours 2.5 hours is ideal. I don't know if I really agree with that. I saw that and
Yeah,
it's insane.
definitely not.
Terrifier 2 does not warrant that time at all.
Well, I haven't seen it,
That
so but
must
I would
be,
highly doubt that it warrants that time.
dude.
Sam
Like,
says 2.5 hours is ideal. I'm definitely. I think most films should be 2 hours. I think 2 hours is a good length. I think 1 hour and 30 should be the short end of films. 2.5 hours should be the 2.5 hours should be, the high end. 3 hours should be absolutely reserved for classics and for some of the best films out there. You make the best movie ever and it's 4 hours long. Do you cut it into two movies or keep it long? Well, look, again, if the film deserves 4 hours, then you kind of have to keep it. If it can be reasonably split up into 2 hours, or you can give it or two movies, or you can keep it like an intermission, then go for it. I think of like Infinity War, Endgame, or something like that, which are really they follow the same story. They're just long connections of the same story. It's like a two-parter, but obviously it doesn't work as one film, and it makes sense to split it up there. It makes sense to split it halfway. So I would keep it 4 hours if it needs to be, and I would make it 2 if it doesn't. This stream is the length of the movie. I don't know what movie you're referring to, but we still have a lot to talk about, so I would expect it to be even longer. Huh?
What about the film? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Set in Tango. 7 hours 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's a classic. My next EDPC production actually that I'm working on is actually already at 6 hours, and I'm planning
No,
we're
but
adding another.
this film is very highly critic, you know, 100% Rotten Tomatoes, 8.3
Look,
IMDb.
it's easy
I
to
haven't
get
seen it.
100% Rotten
It's
Tomatoes
very
when you've
long.
been seen by like 2 people. Let's be real here. What are we
Alright, bro.
doing? What are we doing?
I'll check.
Sam says, does it deserve that runtime? It is not a good film in my opinion. It's okay. It's a
Satan's
mid
Tank.
film. So, yeah, I mean, 2 hours and 15 isn't that long. I wouldn't say that any film doesn't deserve 2 hours and 15, but it's all about the pacing,
20.
Elk says, can understand the Hobbit, Lord of the Ring movies being long, but not everything needs to try and be deep and long. And actually, my main complaint with Lord of the Rings is that the pacing is, in my opinion, horrible. It is very slow, very boring, especially like the Two Towers is just an endless slog. And so, obviously, the films deserve that length. They have a ton of content that they have to fit in, but the pacing is just brutal on those films. Man, we talked about this one for a while. I guess we can sort of briefly move past this since we covered it mostly, but also Avatar's length was rumored to be around 3 hours, and I think both you and I are not the biggest fans of the original, and so I wasn't that excited for the second one before. I'm even less excited now. Still going to see it opening day,
Yeah.
but good God, 3 hours? Like, I'm just not. I don't know that I can handle it.
I agree. I see Babylon gets its runtime 3 hours and 10 minutes, and I am excited. I'm excited about that. And I see Avatar's runtime is like that, and I'm like, and then I think like I'm gonna dislike watching this in theaters. I'm gonna be bored. Maybe I'll fall asleep. I'll probably want to leave.
Yeah.
Like it's
going to
I
be
don't know.
brutal. It's going to be a brutal watch to sit there,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And yes, we were talking about the new one. The first one didn't end as it was. It had like 4 spots that it could have ended. Can you imagine how this one's going to go with an extra like
Yeah.
25 minutes? Good God, man.
It's gonna be so bad.
Oh, I can't take it. That film is so overrated.
It's probably pretty predictable though. James Cameron's films tend to be very long.
Yeah. Look, and I get it, and I very much expect it to be well made, perfect technical aspects, but that won't help me when I'm sitting there on the 3rd hour, like dying to watch something entertaining for once. For God's sakes. So look, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
The Vision
I think
series.
that's
Oh,
I think it will be boring because James Cameron, his films, a lot of them are great, but they're very long and drawn out, and that's one of the like Titanic. I think would be an amazing film if it was shorter, and if it honestly, if it was just the Titanic story without the Rose telling it, I think the film would have been much better, shorter, and enjoyable. An Avatar length, way too long. So,
yeah.
probably gonna be boring.
Yeah. Not much more to say there. The Vision series is a new series coming to the MCU about, I guess, the White Vision, and like his journey for VisionQuest, I think it's called, and his quest to like find himself or something. I'm very not excited about this film. One of my least anticipated MCU projects, because why on earth is this necessary? Who's asking for a show about this new version of Vision, especially when Vision as a character, like his arc was fine. Can we just let it? Can we let it pass? Do we need a show about Vision? This is the kind of stuff that made Phase 4 such a pardon my French, fucking disaster. Because I don't know about disaster, but like it was such a disappointment because all these things that are they necessary or do they have to be shows? Why are we doing it like this? And it's just like I don't even know what to say. Thought the MCU maybe learned their lesson. Maybe the show is good. Maybe I'm going to eat my words, but I highly doubt it because why are we making this a show? What do you think, Ryan?
I think this isn't like the first time. Like I don't know, Agatha Coven of Chaos, right?
Yeah, but that's just another example.
I don't know where they're gonna go with it. I think they're gonna try and introduce new things through the shows, like Agatha. Maybe introduce some comic characters who are wizards or witches and whatnot, more magic. I don't know what they're gonna do with that, what the storyline's gonna be. I'm gonna hope it's good. But yeah, Vision, his storyline throughout the Infinity Saga, incredible, and like WandaVision was great. I don't know what they're gonna do with this. I'm just gonna hope it's good.
I'm with you. WandaVision was good. I mean, but I think it was because that story was necessary. You have to tell the story of Wanda's grief after Endgame. I think that was a great idea for a show.
Yeah.
And obviously, lead up to her in Multiverse of Madness. And there's all sorts of shows that are good that need to be told. Like Loki, I think, is another example. Hawkeye, not so much. And if it were fun, maybe it'd be a different story. I think that show sucks. So, obviously, not the biggest fan of it existing. Did VisionQuest get announced when Phase 4 was? Well, we're still in Phase 4, so I don't know what you mean. Or do you think they came up with this recently?
I think he's talking about
when they announced the projects. No, yeah. Definitely not. Well, it's not a Phase 4 project, but yeah, definitely not. Well, I don't think they came up with it recently. I think they probably, when they created the character of White Vision and WandaVision, I would assume they had some plan for his future, and maybe one of those plans, one of the ideas at least, was VisionQuest as a show. At least they thought about the idea. These guys are smart. They think ahead. And if not, then, I know they had a writer's retreat earlier this year, I think in the summer, where they all went to this little plan and mapped out the next 10 years, I think they said. And it's possible that VisionQuest, was formulated then. But, I don't know. But this,
it's kind of hard to know when we're getting the news exactly about new things. Like when they took, is it Iron? What's the Iron Wars?
Armor Wars. Into a film.
Armor Wars, yeah. Like when they turn that into a film and whatnot. Like I don't know if we're getting that day of or
definitely
a month
not.
Late.
It's safe to assume that this stuff has been in process when it's announced. Yeah,
that's something. And also, like, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but the thing where Kevin Feige flipped out, was throwing chairs, freaking out, saying he hates his job over when they read the script of what was it, Fantastic Four, or maybe
what
it was
on
Secret
earth
Wars,
are you
Avengers.
talking about? There's no way that's real, Ryan.
Yeah,
that is that is nonsense. That is the biggest rumor
Disgusting
I've ever
Film
heard.
posted it. Disgusting Film posted it.
What? Alright, I'm gonna have to look into that. I've never seen that.
It was one of the big upcoming films, maybe Fantastic Four secret films. They were reading the script, and he freaked out. Apparently.
All right. Well, never heard of that, but that's pretty funny. All right. Well, I'll have to look into that. Talking about Marvel, because it seems that's all we do on this show. Kelly Marcel, who wrote. A few people shared this one with me. I guess they wanted me to talk about it. Kelly Marcel, the writer of Venom 1 and 2, or at least one of the writers, is directing Venom 3. My thoughts on this, frankly, are that I don't know anything about her. The writing was not my favorite parts of Venom 1 and 2, but give her a chance. Why not? She clearly has attachment to the material at this point. I like Venom 1. I don't like Venom 2, so maybe she can tip the scales towards the good side. Let's see. I don't have faith necessarily, but I'm willing to give her a shot because what could the franchise lose? Frankly. Ryan, thoughts?
Already. I don't know. I'm not like looking forward to Venom 3. It's not like gonna be on my high up on my anticipation list for the year and whatnot. Like Venom 2 was just atrocious. Very disliked it. So I don't know if I don't think this next one is gonna be very good. First one was alright, and I checked, and Margot Robbie is going to be. They redid it as lead actress.
Oh,
Margot Robbie.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's big news then. Good luck. I don't think she's getting in there. Unless it's a hell of a performance. But, yeah, we'll see. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, Venom 3, Venom 2 is one of honestly, the worst films I've ever seen in my life. So we're talking bottom 50 at least. We'll see how that goes. I was looking at La Flor, which is the longest film of all time at 14 hours. Shockingly, they decided to split it into 8 parts. Yeah, I know nothing about the film, but that does sound interesting. But I don't know how you could make a 14-hour film without splitting it up. That doesn't sound like something that you could watch in one sitting, or that even makes sense. How could you tell a 14-hour long narrative? Yeah, I don't understand that. Venom 2 ending felt abrupt. I'm sure you could. Venom 2 ending felt abrupt. Like, I thought it would be longer. Everything about the film felt abrupt, and I wish it would be shorter. James Gray, director of Armageddon Time, which is a film that comes out next week. We're going to talk about it in a bit. I don't know him besides that, but I'm sure he's directed some other stuff. Is directing a JFK biopic, specifically about a young JFK. I'm intrigued because I like history. I like John F. Kennedy. And I'm excited to see Armageddon Time, and I might be even more intrigued if I like that film after seeing it. What are your thoughts, Ron?
I agree. Armageddon Time looks very good to me, and the reviews are good, so I'm excited for Armageddon Time.
Well, hang on. Now hold off on that. We'll talk about that one in a bit. But yeah, James Gray, JFK.
JFK biopic. There's a lot there, obviously, especially on a younger JFK. A JFK biopic has already been done, but that is not very much about JFK and all about the
it's not a biopic.
Conspiracy theories based on his death.
Right.
And that film is not good. So this one will be a hopefully good JFK film. Yeah,
biopic. Yeah, we'll see how they do it.
Yeah.
We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. That's insane. But we're almost done here, folks. The big news of the weekend, I think, is that The Witcher, which is a show I do not watch, Henry Cavill is departing The Witcher. He played Geralt, the main character, and he will now be replaced by Liam Hemsworth, which is news that a lot of people are very unhappy about. 14 hours equals 1 to 2 seasons of 1-hour episodes. Maybe better to go that way. And again, look, here, if we're going back to the runtime discussion, it's all about what medium does this story need to be told in. Breaking Bad is a 64-hour narrative, but the show makes no sense as a movie. It just doesn't, because it takes place over all sorts of plot lines for seasons and whatnot. So even if you wanted to make Breaking Bad a movie, it just wouldn't make sense. It would take so many movies, and you wouldn't be able to space them out properly. Breaking Bad fits perfectly as a show. Avengers is a long movie. It doesn't make sense as a show because the narrative is confined, but it's enough to take place over the span of 3 hours, and it's a big scale event. So it all depends on the kind of medium that your product belongs in. You shouldn't try and fit it into a medium it doesn't belong in, which is a problem with a lot of the MCU shows. A lot of those shows should not be shows. They should be movies. They don't deserve 6 hours. They don't need 6 hours, and so they shouldn't be. Because a lot of the MCU writers they're like, what kind of Disney Plus content can we make? And so they just transform ideas that might have been movies into shows, which is a bad idea. Angela, like The Witcher. Hope Liam fills the role well. Yeah, a lot of people online, and then Ryan can share his thoughts on this, are saying they really don't like this news. A lot of rumors say that Henry Cavill left because he really liked Geralt. He really wanted to be a part of the show. Obviously, no one knows the real reason. But a lot of people are saying he left because the writers just don't care about the source material, and they didn't really feel like writing it. And they hate the source material, actually, was the rumor I saw. And so, obviously, this is just speculation. I don't know how much of this is true. And I don't understand the hate for Liam Hemsworth. I haven't seen him in a lot, admittedly. But what I have seen him in, he's fine. He's okay. He's good. He's charismatic. I don't know if he'd be good as Geralt. Perhaps controversially, I don't know that Henry Cavill is all that excellent an actor. I haven't seen his range a ton in a lot of things. I've seen him as Superman. I've seen him as Geralt. I've seen him in Mission Impossible. None of these roles require a ton of stellar acting, so I feel like a lot of people are maybe getting a little bit ahead of themselves with this one and should give Liam Hemsworth a chance, but maybe that's just me. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
I have a question. What Liam Hemsworth films have you seen?
Just The Hunger Games is my knowledge of Liam Hemsworth. Those 4 films. And he's good in those. I think he fills the role well.
So I haven't watched any of The Witcher, but I've heard a lot of great things, especially about Henry Cavill's performance. And I don't know, when I saw the news, I just thought, Henry Cavill, I didn't know exactly why I wanted to quit. I thought maybe he wanted to, I don't know, prioritize Superman now that that's new news and
That was my thought as well.
whatnot. Yeah. So I don't know anything about anything else besides that. Maybe I'll watch the show because I hear a lot of good about it. I know you don't enjoy it that much, but a lot of other people do. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched just the first few episodes when it came out. Henry Cavill's fine. He does the role fine. The show is not that good from what I saw, and I felt no interest in continuing to watch. All right, that is the end of news. Thank God. Oh my God, this was a week for trailers and news. Hopefully not as bad in the future. Ryan, do you feel... we're definitely saving hot takes, which we were going to do some this week. But I have a discussion prompt. Do you think we should do it, or do you want to save it? Around an hour 45. And actually, chat, you can chime in as well. Do you think we should do the discussion prompt, or would you prefer to save it?
I'm impartial.
You're impartial, so then I'll let the chat decide. I think it's a good discussion prompt. My only problem is that if we save it and we get more news or more trailers in the future, then it might have to get scrapped. But you know what? I'll just do it. Ryan, on your screen right now, you see that?
I did not see anything on my screen. Maybe like last time I had to wait on the YouTube for it to show.
Okay, then yeah, look at the YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, well, Sam says save it for next week. A little late. Ryan, choose one movie from each row.
There's still nothing there.
One film. What are you talking about?
Oh, now it's there. All right, let's go. Oh my God.
One from each row, and then the chat, please answer this as well. I want one film from each row. I have my answers. I looked at this a while ago.
All right.
But let's go row one first. Row one first. What are you thinking?
Row one. Row is this way, right?
Yeah. Horizontal.
All right, cool. I'm going to take Winter Soldier, Deadpool, and Iron Man out.
Okay, so it's down to Batman and Endgame.
And I am going to pick Endgame.
I'm with you. Endgame is my number one. I think that's, you'd have to be, I don't know how you don't pick Endgame from row one. But I guess Sam did it. He picked Iron Man, which is my fourth option from that row. But I digress. Second row, Ryan. Yeah. I think this is insanely easy. But actually, I lied.
Insanely easy for me.
No, I lied.
I'm picking The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I knew you would. Which is a respectable opinion. I'm going to take Infinity War because it's my favorite comic book film of all time.
That is second.
I think it's genius. Dark Knight is definitely... Those two are definitely up there. It sucks that they had to be in the same row because if they were in different rows, they would both be picked. Let's go third row, Ryan. You've also got some tough competition here.
Future Past?
It is absolutely fraudulent in that row, as well as the Suicide Squad, in my opinion. But third row, Ryan, what you picking?
They have the best Spider-Man movie from the Spider-Man trilogy in there, but it does not touch some of these other films here. You got Man of Steel. I don't like it. Civil War, one of my favorite Marvel films, one of Logan, and one of my favorite MCU films.
Logan is not an MCU film.
No, I'm talking about Civil War.
Oh, okay.
And then, but I am going to have to pick. Damn, this stuff. It's between Joker and Civil War for me. I'm gonna pick Joker.
Give me Joker. Give me Joker, row 3.
There's a lot there.
That's pretty easy actually for me. Logan would probably be my second. But you got 4 9 out of 10s in that row. That is pretty remarkable. And then 4 9 out of 10s in my opinion.
I disagree.
Wow, really?
What are you talking about, bro?
Spider-Man 2 is a 9 out of 10.
It's an 8 out of 10.
That's ridiculous. Civil War, 9 out of 10. Joker, Logan, you agree that Joker and Logan. Okay, yeah. So it's just Spider-Man 2 you disagree with. And then Man of Steel is like a 3, 4. Get that shit out of here. Row 5. What are you taking?
The first row has 4 9 out of 10s.
First row
First
has
row.
has
First row is the best so far. Probably.
first row has 1 9 out of 10,
Consistently.
2 10 out of 10s, 2 10 out of 10s.
Oh wow, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
And the second
there's
row
only-
also has 2 10 out of 10s.
There's only 2 10 out of 10s on this whole list,
No, that's ridiculous.
and they're in the same row.
Dark Knight, Infinity War. Endgame's on a 10
Yeah.
for you? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's a 9.
All right, give me
It's
row
all
4.
short.
Give me row 4.
All right, row 4. Guardians, incredible, 9 out of 10. Justice League, Zack Snyder's so much better than the original one.
true.
So I think I gave it an 8 though.
That's a 7.
Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse. It's so good.
9.
Rewatching it. I rewatched it quite recently. It's a 9. I loved it. Batman Begins. It's a amazing movie, but it's not as good as like Spider-Man to Spider-Verse and Guardians of the Galaxy. And then you got the first Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 8 out of 10.
First
So this is between. Yeah, it is, but it's an 8.
Okay.
So this is between Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse and Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm gonna go Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse.
I think I agree with you. Spider-Verse. Sam says Iron Man, ridiculous. Dark Knight, fine. Joker, fine. Guardians, fine. Fine with that. Alina says Endgame, Infinity War, Civil War, Captain America. She is a Marvel stan. Oh, but she
Wow.
says Spider-Man. I don't know what Captain America that is. It's the first one, which is incredible. It's the second best. And then I was going to have you pick one from each column, but that I don't know how interesting that would be. But then I'll ask you this, Ryan. If you could only pick one of these rows, which one you picking?
All right. Look.
And then the chat as well can answer this.
I think the first and the last one are the most consistent, and that all of them are good films.
Sure.
But the second row has 2 10 out of 10s, the only 10 out of 10s on this list.
But then
Then
you're
it
stuck
also has-
with Days of Future Past, Ryan. Is that what you
Yeah.
want?
Well,
I
what
don't
is this
think so.
for? The only movies I can watch, or what? Like,
Let's say
What
which
am
one
I-
do you think is the best quality?
best quality. Wow. I don't think I could go with row 3 because it has Man of Steel.
Yeah, but the other 4 are golden. The other 4 are great.
Yeah, that's 3 nines and 4, and then a dog shit movie. But let me look. The first one has 4 9s and an 8, which is
Yeah.
pretty good. And the bottom one has 2 8s and 3 9s. Wait, no, 3 8s and 2 9s.
Bottom one, okay. Zack
So-
Snyder's Justice League is not an 8. I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but
I said bottom one.
yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League is not an 8.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, bro.
I'm going row.
I think I'm going row 1.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Batman, Winter Soldier, Endgame. That's a hell of a combo. I mean,
Yeah.
Dark Knight, Infinity War is great. Those are maybe the 2 best superhero films
Yeah.
ever made.
They
But
are.
but I mean,
Those are
Ragnarok,
the 2
Suicide
best.
Squad, Days of Future Past, guys.
Yeah, those bring it down a lot.
Days of Future Past especially is mid. Suicide Squad.
Ragnarok
mid.
is great. Ragnarok is a 9.
It's an 8.
And Suicide Squad is an 8.
It's a 7.
But then X-Men Days of the Future Past is just like...
Is also a 7, 6, 6. Yeah, I'm going row 1. I think I'm going row 1. Sam says row 1 or
Yeah.
2, respectable. That's what we were between as well. Anyway, I'm going to put that one away. Thank you for playing. Pick one. That was an interesting prompt. Ryan, let's talk going forward because we are almost 2 hours in, for God's sake. I'm actually so tired and I have stuff to do before tomorrow. Because it's 10:14 here. Ryan, The Banshees of Inisherin drops next week. This is a film we talked about last week because we thought it was coming out this week. Does it come out near you next week? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked recently.
Okay. Well, it definitely comes out next week near me. I'm very excited to see it. One of my most hyped of the year. Heard incredible things, frankly. And I'm unbelievably excited to see
Me too.
it. Daniel El-Qaim says Endgame, Infinity War, Joker, Guardians of the Galaxy, I assume is GAG. And yeah, that's respectable. Almost identical to mine. Armageddon Time. also comes out next week, which we talked about a bit earlier. Also one of my most anticipated for the rest of the year. James Gray, heard great things about a Jewish family in New York. What, does it get better than that? Let's be real. Excuse me. And in the 80s, there's some political intrigue there. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it. Then you have Weird, the Al Yankovic story, which is just going to be a super oddball biopic comedy. What more could you want? Again, excited to see it. Next week is stacked. I gotta say, I'm very excited.
How are you gonna watch that? Do you have Roku?
I do have Roku. So that is how I plan to watch it. Yeah, if you have Roku, it should be free for you. So I thought Into Spider-Verse was overrated. I'll tell you what. When I first saw it, I definitely agreed. And I actually still a little bit agree, because there are a lot of people who claim it's the best superhero film, yada yada. But then I watched it again, and I've seen it 3 times now. And it's definitely not as overrated as I thought it was. It's very, very good. So maybe if you rewatch it, I don't know how many times you've seen it, but I think it's a great film. And I definitely left the theater originally thinking it was a 7 out of 10 is what I gave it the first time I saw it. And I definitely have come around on that. Then you have Causeway next week, which is a film I think about a veteran coming home. Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry are in this film. I don't know much about it. It seems to be a little subdued. So not that excited, but I do plan to see it. I've heard good things. I will check it out. That drops on Apple TV. And then Her Loss, which is the Drake 21 Savage album, although according to you, maybe not 21 Savage, which actually got delayed. You maybe remember we talked about this last week, but they delayed it a week. I forgot the reason, but they did have one. So that drops on November 4th. Ryan, anything to say about those 5?
Yeah, I got something to say.
Let's hear it.
Certified Lover Boy. Honestly, never mind. Her Loss. Supposed to be like a Drake fan told me that, and I cringed. I think that's a little
Wait, what do you? Oh, DJ Domo 8 is in the chat. Let's go. This is goated. Dylan is in the chat, and he says, "Is that Ryan? Bro's got a beard.
Yeah.
It's a filter. So
yeah,
don't worry about it. Ryan, you're frozen again. Dylan showed up, and you got shy. Dylan, it's good to hear from you, my friend. I hope all is going well with you. You joined in at the end of the stream, so we're about to end this. But Ryan, okay, what were you saying, sir? What kind of?
His last 3 albums: Certified Lover Boy, Honestly, Never Mind, Her Loss. It's supposed to be like a little
like a
trilogy, like tell a little story.
Yeah,
it's cringe. A Drake fan told me that, and I do not like. I think Drake is overrated.
I'm sure that's his plan. Those 3 connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'll listen probably, and we'll discuss it on the show as per usual, folks. I have been EDPC Reviews. I'm exhausted. This is so long. He has been, even though he's frozen. Ryan, you want to give a little send out?
Ryan Dubovsky.
I think we had a good stream today. Could have used a little more chat interaction. That would have been nice. You guys are clowning in there. Elena says Drake is not overrated. I like Drake. He's a little bit overrated, let's be honest. A lot of his stuff is mid, especially recently. His effort has just been way lower than it ever used to be. I think everybody can agree to that. That his output has definitely been worse as of late. But anyway, hopefully next week's show has less news, less trailers, a little shorter. And you guys, all up to you. I said it at the start of the show, but I'm going to say it again. 125 subscribers. Ryan and I are going to do a show where we discuss overrated, underrated, properly rated. That will be the whole show. We'll discuss it with the chat. We'll have some prompts of our own. That'll be super fun. I'm excited about that. And then at 150 subscribers, we will work on call-ins, getting the chat to call in to give their thoughts. You beautiful people. I've been EDPC Reviews. You've just been the absolute best. Ryan is still frozen, but I assure you he says goodbye.
It's ventriloquism.
Bye-bye.
Bye.